Hello everyone and welcome to the old-scale Canadian National Railway Sanmore subdivision. Hello everyone, my name is Serge Lebel and this is episode number 3 of the Canadian National Railway Sanmore subdivision. An episode that's a bit behind schedule. This is July 2018. I thought I had transferred all my files from the computer when I recorded this episode back in March, and I guess some of the files did not transfer well, so this is why I had to start all over again. And it's been quite a busy time for me for the past few months. So I apologize for the delay, but here we are. And today's episode is a quick tour of my workshop, my little studio that I have upstairs in my house. So let me take you on a quick tour. Okay, now some of you might have seen this. This is the plan of my studio and my woodworking shop that was in the article that I published in the O-Scale resource. Now if you look closely here, there's this part here is the back part of the house. If you look at the key plan, that's the house right there, the entire floor plan, and the workshop is right there at the back. So that's the floor plan for the workshop, and then when we step outside I have my woodworking shop. I apologize for all that noise. I have 2 little dogs and a cat here, so a lot of traffic. That can be noisy sometimes. Now looking at the studio coming in from the house, from the inside of the house there. So as we walk in here, I don't know exactly where to start, so I guess I'll just pan around here. The studio is 32 feet wide. It's the width of the house, and it's about 14 feet across at its widest. So okay, let's start here. Let's start at the beginning here. This is where I design a lot of my stuff here, my good old drafting table. You have a track plan here for the layout downstairs. I have a little bit of a reference material here in DVD format. Now that's the door that goes outside to the woodworking shop. I'll try to get to it later. Now this here, these are the cupboards. I made those in the woodworking shop a few years ago. I made those to look like an old railway station. Now here I have a detailing workbench. Now it's not always this neat. I took some time to clean this morning because I knew I was going to shoot a video. So that's why it's looking so neat. Don't be fooled. So yeah, this is one of the little workbench where I like to work, next to the window. And there's another detailing workbench here. Now one thing that I use that's not very common, but it's something that I would refer anyone to. It's I'm using lighting for aquariums, which you can use with a remote here. And let me tell you, these lights are incredibly bright. And you can change the shade. So if you're working on something and it's too bright or too yellow or too blue, you can change the color of the lights. So that's a good little system. Really works well. And here's a little cradle I made out of scraps of wood and little pieces of foam. So whenever I'm working on a car, if I want to do some detailing on a car, weathering or something, I have this little cradle here that I'm using. And there's another workbench here. This is my small parts workbench. So here, this is where I assemble signals. I make my own signals for my layout. There's a couple of signals I'm working on right now. You can see here. Not much to look at right now, but eventually those will look like something. I etch my own parts. I'll probably have an article on that eventually, on brass etching. Those are all parts that I etched for my signals. I have my little soldering station here, and I have a whole series of parts. Back when I was in N-scale, I was an N-scale manufacturer for signals also, and these are all the part leftovers that I have there. Well, not really parts, a lot of it is gone there, but just you can see by the drawers all the signal hoods and stuff. And of course I have to have masking tape on my drawers because Miss Kitty, she likes to open up the drawers and take things out. So that's why there's some masking tape everywhere. Now moving on, another little bench here. This is for the small power tools and hand tools that I'm using. I have quite a few tools. I keep a lot of them in drawers because I can't have them all out at the same time. But these are the ones that I use more often. I have this pegboard here. I do a little bit of crafts also. I'm a very busy guy. Now, speaking of tools, here I have a vinyl cutter for sign makers. Not really a tool that you use for mold welding, but I'm a former sign maker, and I thought it'd be nice to have a vinyl cutter. When I get to build the fascia on the layout, if I want to label everything, I'll have my little vinyl cutter where I can make all the signs. Now this is what I used to make this here. So, you know, it's always nice. Not really a necessity, but... And this area right here, this is all going to be repurposed because I'm working on my signaling right now, and I'm wanting to build a CTC machine. I have a paper print here that I designed for the CTC machine. I will build this machine to custom fit this area right here. So yeah, that'll be repurposed. I started running the wires already. A lot of wires are going down to the layout right now. So yeah, that's a project that's in the works for the next, I guess next year I should be working on that. For now, I'm just concentrating on laying the tracks and building the signals, but eventually that's a project that's coming up. Now, I was talking about my N-scale days. This here is another example. This is a little display of the signal parts that I used to sell. So those are all parts that I etched. And I would sell complete signals, and I would also sell parts for those who would like to build their own signals. I also made some laser cut kits, call them quick kits, because they're very simple kits. So those are all little kits that I used to sell. I say used to because I don't have a website anymore, and I'm sort of done with this here because I just don't have the time with my job now. Here's the all the masters for the N-scale signals that I used to build. I would build a master just to keep one, and whenever I needed to build another one, I would, or build some for an order, I'd have a master for measures and references. Now I had a lot more than this. This is what I could fit on this little shelf here. But I had a lot more designs. I had quite a good selection for N-scale. And if some of you are wondering what is N scale is modeling as at 1/160th scale. So look at my finger. This is how big these signals are. So I have small hands, so go figure. Yeah, those are small. And I also have my pet tags here. Another business that I have on the side. I do laser engraved pet tags for little furry friends. Now here there's another department here. I like to call them departments. This is the printing department. Those are Alps printers. They're linked to the computer. Now, for those who don't know what an Alps printer is, the Alps printer is a very specific printer. It's made, it's a printer that's designed to make decals, water slide decals for models. And it's one of the very rare printer that prints white. As you can see, there's a cartridge here that says white. And that is used to print decals. So I have a couple of those here. Can never have too many. And here I have my laser engraver. This is another tool that I use quite a lot. Now, laser engravers they're expensive tools, and they're expensive to upkeep. Like this one is costing me about over $2,000 every 5 years just to maintain. But it's a machine that's worth well over $20,000. So what's a few $1,000 to keep it running, eh? But it's a good machine. It's very precise, and it's one of my favorite tools. I have all my files here. Those are files, design files for laser cutting and for decals. Maybe I could show you some decals here. Let me check. Let me check here. Yeah, I got some decals printed here. Now you can see the white CP rail that's printed in white. Now the background of this thing is clear, so once the decal is off the paper and it's transferred to the car, you won't see the background. You'll just see the white lettering, and you'll see the full color lettering here. So that's what decals for model trains, that's how they're made. And if I look at my files, these are etch brass files. Okay, I thought those were laser cut. We'll get to the etch brass a little bit later, but this is what I use as negatives to etch my signal parts, and those are printed with the Alps printer. This is why I have two Alps printers. The Alps is essential for these negatives, otherwise you don't get that true black opaque negative that you need. So there you go. Little more parts here. This is my inventory of small parts that I use when I'm working on cars. And these drawers are all filled with you know, all sorts of parts also. This is my supply cabinet here. Wood strips, different sizes. Everything's in little compartments. And moving on, these are my my reference magazines. I have quite a few of them. I have some here. Those are the ones that I refer to once in a while. But I have a lot of the older ones. The drawers are filled here with a lot of the older ones here. all full here. Lots of reference material. And of course I have some of my own writing. I do write a few articles once in a while and stuff, so these are some of my own writings. Now this is the stairs going down to the layout. Of course there's little gates everywhere with our little furry friends here. I have to do some traffic management because I don't want the dogs or the cat downstairs, or sometimes, you know, like in this area here, I leave little projects on the go and only the cat has access because of his litter box. This here is my my spray booth, my paint booth area. So let me just open up the gate here. All right. This is where I keep all my paint supplies. I have more paint supplies here too. Got lots of paint supplies. Foam brushes, all sorts of stuff. And here I have a few of my trusty airbrushes. I got quite a few airbrushes because they have different tips on them for different purposes. I have a larger gun for when it comes to O-scale painting, O-scale locomotives and cars. You can't really do that with an airbrush. You need a gun for that. So that's my little touch-up gun for the painting of the cars and locomotives. And that's my my sandblasting gun, full sandblaster. And this spray booth is something that I designed and I had built by a tinsmith about, maybe 20 years ago. So it's seen a lot of projects. It's starting to show its age, but it's still working really good. I tried to clean it up a bit today. Now this thing is vented outside. I have a switch here, so you can hear the blower. The blower is outside. This is vented outside, goes under the floor. And I have an industrial fan outside, industrial blower outside that's pulling all of these, all the fumes from the spray booth and from the laser engraver, because that makes fumes also. And on the other switch is my air compressor, which is downstairs. So that's the air compressor that's working. There you go. And that's my exposure system for my brass etching. That's something I'll write an article on eventually. Now my woodworking shop, this is outside here. Now that's quite a mess. I didn't get a chance to clean that one up, so you're gonna see what a mess I work in. It's not really big shop. It's 12 feet wide by 26 feet long. I did there's one wall here on the other side. That's where I keep my bike and lawnmower and stuff. So yeah, it's a small woodworking shop. I didn't want anything too big there. I have a few tools that I work with, and I didn't need that much space. It's not like I'm building big things here. I did build my cabinets, and that was the biggest thing that came out of this shop. The shop was, the intention was to have something that I could use when I'm working, like building bench work and projects for the layout. All the railroad ties were cut here on this table saw. So yeah, sometimes I make small projects, you know, small signs and stuff, but no, it's not a commercial shop. It's just a hobby. So there you have it. That's the shop. So there you have it, folks. a little tour of my workshop and showing you a couple of tools that I work with. I know it's a very short video. My intention was to do a lot more, but like I said, I'm kind of stressed for time right now, so I guess that'll have to do. Again, if you have questions or comments, please don't hesitate. I like hearing from you. And I'm not going to compromise myself on saying when the next episode is going to be. I don't even know what it's going to be. For the moment, things are rather slow on the layout because it's summertime and I have a lot of projects on the go. Things will probably pick up in the layout room by maybe October, November. So maybe I'll have something by December to show you. Until then, like I said, don't hesitate to write. It's always nice to hear from you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. The big kitty wanted to say goodbye too. Say goodbye, big kitty.